Hey guys, this is the Hidden Matrix and welcome back to another video on my channel. In today's video we're going to be carrying on with the series Hidden Matrix art, and in the video we are going to be drawing Mario, Super Mario. So it's one that you guys have been requesting, as I did do a poll in one of my art videos on what characters you wanted, and you did want Nintendo characters, so I presume the first Nintendo character that we should do is Mario. So what I'm going to do now is start off by using a ruler, and I'm going to get myself measurements, do it slightly down from the start of the paper, round about here, and then we go from 0 to 4. You don't have to do this you don't have to press down on this really, just do it quite light and just make sure that it's just about seeable. So as you got 4 from here, we've got to make sure that we get 2 centimeters down and then get the middle point. And this is going to be how I create the circle for the face, as I'm drawing everything rough and sketching it first. Then we'll add in all the fine detail, but we're just going to get all the basic shapes in first. So now that's sorted, make sure that I don't move the paper everywhere, and let's get on with just getting this circled off. It doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be a perfect circle, it just needs to be there so you know what you're drawing. It doesn't matter what type of pencil you use as well. I know these are like the worst lines, but these are just rough lines, as me just making sure that they're all joined up and everything. So that's the start of the head, that's how everything's going to go. And now we've got the body to do, so what that would be is round about here to probably about this part of it. And remember, you can rub out if you feel like you need to do that. So this will be the body. For now, we can easily go out of the circle if we need to for the drawing, but we're gonna just get the basic shape done. So we'll get the legs, and so this is going to be like a rectangle with like sort of curved edges at the end, but then it's back with a straight edge to the top of his belly, and then sort of cuts into the other leg, this second leg, and it sort of does the same again. So I have this. I'm trying to sort of make sure I don't take ages on this, so that's why I'm drawing very rough at the moment. I know it looks terrible at the moment, I definitely know it does, but it's just to make sure that I've got the basics sorted. And then we'll just have like that in there, and then his belly will go, we're going to draw like a point at where it's going, so it's going around that area, and so his head will be around this part as well. These are how I always do my drawings, very rough, then get to the fine detail, and I use a lot of rubbing out, to be honest, as that's kind of my style. So now that is sorted, what I'm going to do is just rub out some of the edges so I can actually see where my line is that I'm drawing. I'll draw this line a little bit thicker, so we're going to be drawing the head. So we're going to get the proper shape going, so we'll go from about here, and he goes, and his arm sort of cuts into his head slightly. So we'll go right back on the other side and get this part of the head, and it sort of curves up. And he does have like a bit of moustache, so we'll just cut that bit of moustache that's sticking out for the moment, and then just get the nose. And then just draw that nose, it's like a circle. So this is going to be like a step-by-step guide if you guys were wondering, as it will be shown in the title, the video of how to draw Mario. So now we'll just go and join these parts up. I'm using a new pencil as well, so this is the first time I'm actually doing a proper drawing with this pencil, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything comes out. So this is how sort of the basic head will look like. So we go and then just draw the nose a little bit bigger, so it sticks out a little bit more, so then we can get the sort of curved moustaches, so it's like half circles almost for his moustache. And then we go in with this. Make sure you don't go too far down with this, as you want to be able to fit in the mouth. I might make his head slightly more downwards into his body just for now, because his mouth might need a little bit more room. And then we can go and just finish off the moustache just like this. Once again, everything is in rough, and then I'll go over and make sure that everything is fine lined. So now that is sorted, what I'm going to do is just rub out the inside of his head. Make sure I can find where the rubber is over here, and so I can start getting inside the main features of his head with the eyes, the mouth and everything without lines cutting through. So what I'm going to do is start off with the eyes of Mario. So we're going to start off with his left eye, and it sort of like goes up in a line, then you got like a circular curved off edge at the top, which then follows its way back down to the nose like this. I'll slightly just go and curve it in a little bit more because he was going a little bit wide with his eye. And then what we're going to go and do is draw the second eye. So these are like the eyeballs. So it goes a little bit close to his nose but not touching, and then goes up to about, you want to line the top of these eyes up, and then it'll go right back down to make like a circular, to make like a circled eye almost. And then what we're going to go and do is add in the eyebrows. Just make sure that's almost touching the eye, and then we're going to go and round it off like this. I will go and rub out things because the lines are a little bit thick at the moment, especially since that should be a bit more pointy. I will just go and make the line for his head a little bit more easier to see. The picture will be in the description for you guys if you do want to go check that out as well. Right, so now we're going to go and get his other eyebrow. So the line of the head that I had put on, it needs to be a little bit higher, so I will just go and sort that out so it can fit in the eyebrow. So just draw a line up to around about here, and then it'll cut off, and then we can go get the rubber. Make sure this is all correct. There we go. And then we'll be able to fit in the eyebrow very nicely for his right eye. This is the first time that I've drawn Mario on his own, so it's going to be interesting to see how he turns out, since I've drawn like Luigi and Toads and everything with the Super Mario logo. Now we're going to go and draw the eyes. So go, and it's a similar shape to the eye that we did draw before, the white part of the eye, but it's just going to be inside of that white bit. And now it's going to be the same for the right eye, so go and do that just like that. Make sure it's rounded off as he's looking in the right direction. So now that is sorted, I'm going to go and draw his hair by his ear. So what I'm going to go and do is just make sure that I have the right length and everything. I will go and shorten his moustache as well, as that's a little bit too long, as it shouldn't be passing that part of the eye. So just get a line down there and shorten it, and we can go and edit the moustache a little bit later. So now we're going to go and get back to the hair and just draw like sort of curved edges just like this, and then it'll go into the ear where we'll draw the outline of the ear like that, and then it will just sort of cuts above the hat a little bit. Now I'll just go and curve the edge a little bit so it sort of goes towards his head instead of just a straight line. So now what I'm going to do is draw his hat. So just go and start with the bit that points out first, and then we'll sort of curve it in like that. Let's get the basic shape of it first. It might cut off with the paper, I'm not too sure, but we'll just hope for the best that that doesn't happen. I think I might have drawn this a little bit too high, so I might just shorten it down a little bit, just to make sure that everything is in the right proportion. I'm just going to draw a line like this, since the hand just does cut out the end of his hat. So it goes like this, so there's like a bit of a bump at the back, and then he has it going upwards, quite pointy upwards, and then it would go down and it would be in line with the head and this part. So that's kind of how you get the shape, and I'm just going to round it off a little bit more. And then we have the circle on his head for his hat, and we'll have the iconic M inside of it, just drawn like this. Just a simple M with just thick lines, and it just curves off a little bit on this one, just like that. You go and draw a line here, as it does have that a bit there. So now that's the basic rough hat drawn, I'm going to start on with the mouth. So it's just below a little bit of his moustache, so the moustache doesn't cover the whole of his top of his mouth, and it would go to like this part, so you get a line here, and then you would be able to match it up here and then curve it off like this. It's almost like a U shape with a line across it. So if you get the letter U and then put a line, that's how you get the mouth shape, and just get a little bit of a curve at the end. That's just to get the angle of the mouth. Then inside we do have the teeth, which does have a little gap at the end with his mouth, and then inside we have the tongue, which we can later, when we do colour in the drawing, add in the details so we can kind of tell there's a tongue in there, but it's also the mouth. I'm now going to draw inside of his eye, so we're going to get the next line inside. I've just drawn that a little bit too close to the other line, so we'll just go and shorten it out, and then we have like a little white circle inside to show the reflection of the eye, so we know which way it should be facing. Then inside like this with this eye, and trying to circle it off a little bit, as his eye is a circle inside, and then we have the little white circle like that, and there you go, that's Mario's eye done. So that's all of his face pretty much done for now. So what I'm going to focus on next will be the body. So first off, what we're going to do with the body is just make sure we have it lined up with the head correctly. So if we go with the line up, it should kind of line up with that part of the moustache, and I'm going to go and kind of round Mario off a bit, give him a little bit more of a belly. Does need to work out a little bit more, doesn't he? Maybe could go with Sonic out for a run, you know. That'll surely put him into shape a bit quicker, wouldn't it? In no time at all. Right, so we'll just get the oval's shape outline as well. So this is kind of the shape that we'll have. I might just make it slightly bigger, as we don't want a tiny body and a massive head. So now what I'm going to do is start creating the lines for the oval. So you've got like the straps where the yellow circles are. So we're going to go and draw these now. We've got like a V shape at the end. And then what you do is go follow that line back up. Just like that, make sure that they're not too thick, those lines. And then what we're going to go and do is draw a line across to the next strap. Draw a line down and try and make sure that they are level with each other, the straps. So when you draw the V, try and not make it further down than the other, as they are level with each other. And then we're going to draw the circle. You guys might have a neater drawing than me, so you might be able to make out the circle on yours a lot better than what it'll be with mine. But for now it's just a placeholder circle, before I go and fine touch everything once all the features have been put down. So go and draw the other circle. When it comes to drawing as well, I do like to sort of go and scratch my lines out. Instead of doing like a clean line, I will like go like this with my lines. I get the rubber, as I feel like it's better to do that with sketching than doing like a fine line, because if you just do a normal straight line without having breaks in it, then you might get it a little bit squiggly and everything, so it just keeps consistency if you have sort of like scrapes with the line. So that's a bit of a top tip. So now what I'm going to next do is get the line which goes from his right strap and round his armpit down to near the middle of his body, and curve this off like that, and then you just have like a little bit inside where you can see it's like the sort of the 3D effect of the strap. So we'll go and just get that sorted. So I'm just going to go and join up the bottom of his belly up with the leg. So now we can go and start on the leg. What I will do with the detail on his, for like pockets and everything for his body, I'll do that later once I've got rid of everything like with lines and stuff inside of his body, so I can then go and do it quite easily. So go and make this not too long, because we don't want him to have massive legs. You don't want to make him too fat on his legs as well. So then we go and join the end of the leg, and there's like a bit of like curve like I said before, and go and do this, and then that should be his leg okay for now for that side. Actually what I'm going to do is just point it out a little bit because of the direction that his leg is going. Then what I'm going to do now is start on with his next part of his leg. Sort of goes in towards his leg slightly but keeps that straight angle. Then it'll curve off at the end because it hits the shoe, and then we'll get the curve upwards as the shoe would be underneath. And once we've done the legs, we'll get straight to the shoes. And then we can go from this line and join up that part of the leg. What we'll just quickly do is just get that other leg slightly more down, as I just realised that they don't line up with each other. This part of the leg is slightly past that other part, and then we'll just go and do this and join it up and get that other part like this still, as it's lined up with that part but this part isn't. So quick check, even I make mistakes. So there we go, that is the leg for Mario done on both sides. I might make changes to some of them later. I may thin them in, maybe make them a little bit thicker, but for now this is okay. So we can go and start on with the shoes. So we're going to go and do is start off with like a circle kind of shape as the basic shape for the shoes, and we'll do that on the other side. This one will have a little bit of like a different shape to the other one, as it's showing a little bit more of the size, so it won't just be a circle. So there we go, got the basic shapes done. So I'm going to go back to his right leg and just add in the proper lines. He does have a sole on his shoe, so we'll get to that bit, but we're going to go and just get the top of his shoe done first. Just add these sort of really light lines, as I know the angle of the shoe and the shadowing on it. So now that part of the shoe is done, I'm just going to add in the sole. It's quite small, this part of the sole as well, since you can only just see it. And then we'll go add in the next part. This one's a little bit easier to see. And then we'll go join it up. Just like that, and then you've got the shoe. So now what we're going to do next is get on with the correct lines for this shoe of the left shoe, since the right one is now done for now. So we're going to go and do this part of the shoe first before we do the sole. Make sure that the shoe doesn't end up pointing downwards, keep the line kind of straight as the shoe is on the ground. Just go and point this one downwards, as he doesn't really have a round kind of shoe, it kind of dips downwards. Just like that. So now what we can go and focus on is the sole of the shoe, and then it's just simple lines. If you're finding the tutorial helpful so far, be sure to leave that in the comments, and if you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe. That would be awesome, and be able to join an awesome community, and be sure to leave a like as well to show your support. Very much appreciated. Right, so we're gonna go with the sole, try and make sure that we get the line right, since there's a little bit of a 3D bit in this part, as there's a little triangle there, and this one sort of connects with the other part of the sole, as you can see, and just go and make it like this. Try and make sure that it's not too small, since what I think I've done with this one is slightly go and make this a little bit too round, as it should be a little bit more, like I said, try and make sure they don't point downwards. So we'll just go and do that sole again, so I feel like I made a mistake with this one. So I have fixed the shoe, so that's okay now. So what we're going to go and focus on is the arms and hands for Mario now. So we're going to start with the right arm, just make sure that we get the lines right. So I'll just get rid of this line here, as that's a little bit too thick, so that can sort of put you off the correct line, especially when you're trying to correct it later on. You want to make sure that it's okay, and from the angle it's going, it's kind of going around about here for the angle, and we'll go and join this line up here. I will just go and make this one a little bit more out diagonally, as his arm is quite thick. Get the armpit as well, in like that. Now we'll go and join these up. I might just make his arm a little bit smaller actually, since I feel like it's going slightly too high. Make it a little bit thicker as well, just like that. So you don't want his arm too long, as he doesn't have that massive arms. So we'll just go and now start off with the glove. It goes into this, and then we can get sort of a curve where at the bottom of his hand, and it slightly goes out into here like this. And then we go back, and then start with the hands. So what I like to do with hands to make them simple is just start off with a simple kind of circular square shape, just like this. So if you take away all the fingers and everything and just keep his palm, that's how it would look. Just something simple as that, and then you can add in each finger as you go. So go and start with the first finger, which is pointing upwards. Make sure that this doesn't go higher than that line, so you want to make sure that the finger doesn't go higher than the hand. So you want to make sure that the finger doesn't go higher than the hat, and the end of the finger kind of ends around this point, so it's around about like this area. And then once you've done that, go and join it up at the end and make sure it's quite thick as well, because he does have quite thick fingers. So what we're going to go and do next is start with the second finger and go down with that. And then we can go and join it up round in the middle with the thumb, which goes to about here, and then it will just curve inwards, then curve out to about there. And then we can go for the top of the thumb, so it curves in a bit and then curves out like this, just like that. Quite easy and simple. And then we can go and finish off the finger here. Make sure that it curves in correctly. Something similar to that, and we'll just go, and since it's a little bit hard to sort of get the fold, since you need a bit of shading for that and everything, I will go and sort that out later, but I'm just going to go and get the basic shape sorted out for now. Next we'll go to the third finger, which joins up with the thumb again, round about in the middle point of the thumb, and then we'll go join that up the top. Then once that's sorted, we can now go and add in the last finger, the little finger, the pinky finger, which just goes slightly below the third finger, then joins out like this, so it points outwards and curves in. And then we can go and join that part, the hand, to the glove and the finger, and there you have is the first hand for Mario. So we can now go and start off with the last part of the features for Mario, which is the left arm and left hand. So what I'm going to do is add in the light blue, so we can go over and do a light coat on his ovals just to start off with, and we'll go in layers of colour. So we'll go light blue, normal blue, then we'll add in the dark tone of his ovals and shadows on his ovals. So yeah, I'll see you guys once that is quickly done, and then we'll get to the blue one, and then we'll see how things look to add on the dark blue. So now that I've added all the light blue on Mario's ovals, I'm going to add in the second tone of blue, which is just a normal colour blue, and it's going to go over some parts of the light blue but not all of it, as we're keeping some of the light. And then once we've done that, we will get straight to the last tone of blue, which will be the dark blue, where it goes in areas of shadow. So now we just need to add in the dark blue parts of Mario's ovals, and that'll be his ovals complete. My memory card did just cut out, unfortunately. It's been doing that a little bit too much, and it's annoying, but what I was doing was getting my light red on Mario, so we're going light red, normal red, then dark red. But yeah, it's a bit annoying when you get errors with your memory card and trying to record, because you can't really get rid of colour, but that's what I was doing for you guys, just to keep you up to date. But now I'll just be adding on the normal red colour for Mario for his second layer of red, and then that should be all good, and you guys should be able to catch up now that the camera error is out of the way. Now that the other bits of the red are done, all I need to do is add in the dark tone of the reds, then that'll be Mario's red and blue parts done, so we'll be getting a step closer to it. Then what we'll work on will be all the facial features and everything, with the moustache, his eyebrows, his eyes, hair and mouth, as also his skin. Now that all the red has been complete, we'll now get to starting the facial hair with the moustache, then the eyebrows, and also his head hair. So yeah, we'll get to that, starting off with the lighter brown, and then we'll get to the darker brown and may add a little bit of black for that darker tone. So I'll see you guys once that is sorted. I'm going to now add in Mario's skin tone and make sure that I get it the right complexion. I'll only be using one colour this time for his skin though, so we'll make sure we go over it lightly first. So now I'm going to start colouring Mario's eyes, so we'll go on the outer edges of the eye first, before we get into where the yellow circle, little small circle is. I'll do it on the left eye as well. And once that is done, we can now go to having the next tone of blue. Put that in the middle. Make sure that you're firm, because you need to make sure they don't stick in with the same colour. Tone like. Now I'm going to go around the edges with this blue. Very gently, just to add a bit of shadowing around his eye. And lastly, we'll go and add the darkest blue bit of tone on his eye. First with this one. Now with this one. So all that's left to do now is the mouth, the yellow buttons and shading on the hands, and then we'll be finished. So there you have it, Mario at his finest. That is the finished product of Mario. If you had followed my tutorial correctly, you should have something very similar to this. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe and join this awesome growing community. And if you need any help with anything, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply to you to give you my advice and everything. So yeah, like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.